Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer, and this evening I'll be finishing up our label theme week, which of course was Arrow video. Now I decided to have a go with something that's a little bit more unusual for the stuff that I tend to go for. I went for one of the Mario Bava films. So this was a set, I think, well, people who collect and probably watch these videos know very well what Arrow is all about, and they have quite a large collection of the Mario Bava films. And I think that this was being released because I think the licenses were running out, because these have all had single releases and the licensing was running out, so they decided to put this Uber set together. And I only had a few bits and pieces of there, so I decided to jump on this, which actually sadly it sold out very quickly. It's a shame. I don't think maybe they had that many copies of this, which was it's a really beautiful set. Anyway, I'm very happy to have it, and I'm deciding to look at Bava's 1974 kind of Eurocrime thriller Rabid Dogs, which is again is a little bit different for me. I'm very much fully like horror, and this has horror elements. It is very like Eurocrime kind of sort of thing, but I thought it would fit quite nicely with this, and it's just a slight tweak to normal videos. So as I said, this is a Mario Bava film. So we follow three criminals, and they're actually we follow them at the start of the film where they're in a heist and it goes wrong. Actually there's four criminals, I think, and one of them gets shot or something like that. I forgot the start already. But anyway, yeah, this all goes down, so they end up escaping to a car park, and they kidnap this woman and this man, and they actually have a child in the car they didn't realise, and they kidnap them and basically escape, manage to get away, and they're on the run. And so it's kind of like one of these, this is where the more horror comes in. It's like a contained kind of situation, and it's yeah, it's kind of very claustrophobic and eerie, and you're not quite sure how it's going to go, because yeah, there's these three people that obviously they've abducted this what appears to be a family, but it's a man, a woman and a child. I won't go too much into details, but two of them are kind of nutters and one of them is kind of quite cool, collected, and he's the kind of the main guy, Maurice Polly, and he's, like I said, he's kind of quite chilled, and he kind of, as the film goes on, he's a shit, but he has a bit of a conscience, and it's like the Don Backy. He's this kind of unhinged, quirky character, is a bit screwed, and you have the man, the beast, George Eastman in this one, and he's just this giant asshole. Like, they're just so over the top crazy, this Don Backy and George Eastman, but they're just really cool and interesting characters. So I think you have to have something quite quirky, not quirky, that's the bad word to use, but you need to have interest and something with these characters that keeps you going, especially when the majority of the narrative of the film is stuck in this car. And Bava does it really well. It's like some really nice shots. There's bits and pieces where we do come out of the car. There's this one, this traffic jam situation. They hit this car in front of them, and it's like, oh, it's all gonna come to shit. They're gonna find out what's going on. And there's this other bits where we meet other people, like this really, really annoying woman who's broken down, and she jumps in the car basically, and she's coming on, and she's like, oh, what's going on here? Because shit's gone down, and this is a little bit further into the film, and one of our characters isn't doing so well, let's put it like that, and she's just a bit oblivious to start with, and then going through the radio stations, and they're talking about these missing people, and it's a fun ride. I did enjoy this one quite a lot. It's the music, Stelvio Cipriani, he's very kind of throughout this time, like, I think he was actually doing music right up until pretty much his death into his 80s, I think. But yeah, he's very into this kind of time period, like heavy, working on lots of these films. It's kind of what you would expect this music to be, and it's like kind of jazzes along quite well, and with the script and everything and the acting. I really did enjoy this one. It's might not necessarily be for everyone, but I was engaged in it the whole time. It was just like really interesting seeing what was going to happen. It's like, because obviously we have these characters and they start to change. They do change. Well, George Eastman is just an arse throughout. Like I said, we have Maurice Polly, and you can see his conscience starts to build. And then Don Backey, his character, is kind of like he has nerves all the way through. It's like this, he has this anxiety and he has feelings towards his fellow robbers, sort of thing, and like how the situations that happen, and like how they interact with each other, and how the kind of the people are being kidnapped. Like, oh, I'll go and look. There's this child, and he's basically pretty much comatose. He's like has these drugs to keep him basically asleep because he's sick. And then you have this the mother, I will say. Yeah, there's things there's extra things to this that it's not really. I'll just call it like the mother figure, and then there's the driver, the father figure, sort of thing. And yeah, he's very calm and cool and collected, which is a little bit unusual during this kind of kidnap situation. She's freaking out a lot at the time, but he's always calm and collected, and he actually starts to dictate some of the situations of what are happening, and he doesn't quite ever get the upper hand over Maurice Polly, but he's pretty close. I can't remember his name now, the actor's name, but he's just very calm and collected all the way through the film. And then actually right at the end of the film you have this twist that I just did not see coming at all. I was like, huh, okay then, that's a nice little bump up at the end as well. It's always you want to look to think about what you want to score a film at the end. There's this little thing which pops up and you just didn't see it coming. There was little hints when you look back, but I just didn't string them together. I was just really into the characters, because the characters are really good in this and they're really well written. Bava did a great job. Anyway, that's my review of Rabid Dogs. Highly recommend you check it out. It's not one that probably hear talked about too much, especially like if you think Bava, it's one of the ones which doesn't get kind of mentioned too much, but very, very good film. And this is very much out of print, but I think most of the single releases are as well, but they'll be much easier to get hold of, so I recommend pick it up. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll catch you guys next week. Bye bye.